How you doing? We're going to be doing a little activity here, or a short little video on basically standards-based grading. So first of all, what is it? How will this work? What is Schoology? Why would that be important to you? And yes, in this whole grading process, can you ever get a chance to do it over? That's what we're going to find out. Now, what you're seeing right here is a slideshow that I'll have as a PDF. It'll be attached to the bottom of this. There's a few links here that might be helpful. There's the redo link, and I'll have this in many different places. Click on this. You can send me an email. This is to my YouTube station if you want to subscribe. And this is and we'll do more of this in class, to Schoology. We'll find out what that is as well. Okay, so first of all, what is standards-based grading? Standards-based grading essentially says this. Every single assessment that we do will have what I call an I can statement. So let me just move this down a little bit. And here is an example of all of these I can statements. These are basically all of the ones that we're going to do in chemistry. So every single unit, every single assignment will have an I can statement. And then what's going to happen is with that I can statement, you're going to find that there's a scale. The scale is going to be 0 through 4. Will be your grade on that I can statement. If we did some sort of assignment and you just totally crushed it, it's perfect, you did a great job, that's a 4. That means it clearly exceeds expectations. If you scored a 3 means, you know what, you pretty much have it. You're doing a really good job. That means you've met the expectations. If you have a 2, you're not quite there yet. We call that emerging. 1, you need a lot of help, and that's okay. And 0 could mean it's not completed. It was incomplete. It was just copied and pasted, or I just don't have any evidence. So that's it for every single assignment. And then what's going to happen is there are really only 2 categories. There's the formative assessments and summative assessments. So as an example, going back to this idea of like an I can statement for the periodic table. When we're studying the periodic table, the first 2 or 3 activities that we do, because it's new and we're learning about it, would be these things called formative assessments, and you would get a grade of 0 to 4. When I can tell that the whole class seems to be doing fairly well, and they're scoring 3s and 4s on the formative assessments, that usually means it's time for a summative assessment, which again is based on the formative assessments. We'll have fewer of those, and they're probably going to be a lot harder. Then you take the averages of the formatives, of the summatives, it's 50-50, and that's how you get a final grade. Now, if you get a final grade, it's not going to be like a 75% or 85%. So the question is, how do we turn this into an actual grade? Depending on what your class you're in, it will look something like this. If you have a 3.2 to 4, that's an A. A 2.4 to 3.1, that's a B. 1.6 to 2.3 is a C, and so on. So it's not like you might say, oh, well, gee, I got a 3 out of 4. Is that a 75% C? No. It's based on the scale. Now, for interims and for the quarter and semester grades, you'll just see those grades in progress book. The question is then, how do you keep track of grades? Well, there's a great little program called Schoology. Everybody here, including your parents, will have a account on Schoology. And the great thing about it is it will have every assignment that we do. It will have the standard with that assignment, and then it'll have a score of 0 to 4. You can also look back and it'll show you only the standards we've covered and how well you've done on those standards. The really cool thing about this is that when it comes time for the semester exams, you click on that button and you say, hey, I did really well on these like 6 standards. I did pretty bad on these 2 standards. I need to focus on these 2 standards. That's the idea behind standards-based grading. There will never be a case when at the end of the quarter or semester, you bring in a box of Kleenex and you get a bunch of points or say, well, can I just do a bunch of homework and get some points? That is not how it works. Next, what about a redo? I get kids all the time saying, oh man, I did bad on that test. Can I redo it? Well, maybe. Okay. So here's how a redo works. Let's imagine that you get a 0, 1, or 2 on an assessment, or you were absent. In those cases, if you get a 0, 1, or 2, yes, you do get a chance to redo that assignment. However, there's a catch. Here's the catch. The catch is, and I'll have this as a link on Blackboard. The catch is you're going to have to fill out this Google form. Now, what this Google form does, it explains the conditions. You got to fill this form out for any makeup work. If you can only do the makeup work if you scored a 0, 1, or 2, or if you were absent. If you scored a 0, 1, or 2 and you're doing a redo, the highest grade you're possible to get on the redo is a 3. If you're doing this at all, this has to be done this form has to be filled out. It has to be completed, and the redo has to be done within a week of the original assignment. You have to provide physical evidence of learning when you come in to do the redo, or you can't do it. So, for instance, let's say that going back to the idea of the periodic table, you maybe scored a 2 on a particular assessment. You do the redo, you come in a couple of days later to do it. I'm like, okay, what have you done to learn this? And you're like, well, I studied. Doesn't count. I need to see physical evidence. Did you come in and ask for help? Did you get help from another teacher? Did you take notes in the textbook? Did you take notes from a different YouTube video? Did you do some practice problems? If you don't show me anything, it's really pointless. Okay, so I'm going to say, sorry, can't do it. Try again later. Maybe next time. And because I'm trying to keep track of all these, the form this form that you're seeing right here, this form must be filled out, and you have to hit the submit button by 8 p.m. the night before to be able to do the redo like the very next day. And that's because to keep track of all these, I need time to make them and get them printed out and everything. There will be no redos the last week of the quarter. So this form, here's what you'll need to do. Of course, give me your name. Tell me what bell you're in. Tell me the class, the standard that you're going to want to redo. I need to know that. I need to know the number of the assignment that you're trying to either make up or redo. I'm going to have all my numbered. The name of the assignment, the date that it was due in class. And you're going to tell me when you're coming in. It has to be from a week from when the assignment was due. And you're going to have to tell me the time. And what this does, when you hit submit, this merges your information into a Google document. I can easily pull up that document, say, okay, here's their the assignment that they want to redo. I've been teaching for a long time, so for every topic, I've got about 15 million different problems, questions, and labs. I'll put it in there and put it in a file, and you'll be coming in at that time. If you don't come in at that time, sorry, better luck next time. So that's basically a brief synopsis on standards-based grading. It's kind of how it works. And I found this to be extremely effective and efficient. This is heavily researched. I spent a year researching this. I spent a year talking to other chemistry teachers and science teachers who were doing this. And there is no research to support our current method of just doing 70 to 80 and 80 to 90 and all that. This is shown to be the most effective and efficient way of doing it. And also, more and more people are starting to do this as well because they found it's just a better way for kids to understand their learning. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, let me know.